And we're live. Hey there, comic fam. Bullseye Bob here, and welcome to Everything Comics. And welcome to an impromptu episode on Memorial Day. It's a lazy Monday afternoon. I slept in today. It's been a great weekend so far. We've had some great weather. And it's just a lazy afternoon, enjoying some coffee. And I figured I would come on and talk some comics, talk about some things that are going on. I know that there is another show that is going on right now. I don't mean to, create a stream when other people's shows are going on, but I know that my good friend TM Nerdy and Robert Galvin, I think, are having a show right now. I just saw a post that they're on, and so if you want to go support them, go check them out. Both of them have extremely great channels, and but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm just going on this afternoon to do some. I haven't done a video in about a week, and I figured I'd get some stuff going on here because I read some comics and I got a bunch of announcements, and it feels like a great day to do this. So thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me. And so we're going to talk about a number of things, and so I'm looking forward to it. All right. So first of all, drinking my coffee. You guys know I absolutely love the Refuge Coffee House. They're at 9217 Southeast Foster Road right here in Portland, Oregon. It is one of my go-to coffee houses. It's the official coffee house of Everything Comics. This coffee, unfortunately, is not from the Refuge Coffee House. This is my favorite coffee that I drink at home out of my Keurig, and it's just the regular old donut shop coffee, and it's my favorite. It's great stuff. I'm drinking it out of my Dallas Cowboys mug that my son, Bobby Jr., bought for me, I don't know, like 5 years ago or something. It's my favorite mug. And so I'm enjoying my coffee out of that today. And but thanks for tuning in. I didn't plan on doing a video, but it just felt like a really cool, lazy day. And so I wanted to hop on and do this. We got a few people who have joined in the chat so far. We got my good buddy Fable Station, my friend. Good to see you. We got Shane Loris in here. How's it going? Always good to have you here, my friend. We got Jay Nunn. You sup, dog? How you doing, dog? Good to see you. We got Two Gun Pedro. Pew, pew. Always good to see you, my friend. Steve White. How's it going? Bobby Delaghetto, my brother from another mother. Always good to have you here. We got Nova 69. Station, my friend. And so really appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, there's another stream that's going on right now. I didn't know that they were going to be going live, but TM Nerdy and I think Robert Galvin are having something going on right now. So make sure that you check out those guys' channels. And if you want to go and check those guys out and support them and then come back and watch us later on, I'm perfectly okay with that because those guys are awesome guys. And I want to show those guys a lot of love. So this episode is brought to you, as always, by my partner in crime, Eric Strubble. That is the Rogue Trader. That's right. Go to theroguetraderutah.com, and that's where you're going to go for all your cleaning and pressing needs. If you have a comic book that you're going to send in to be graded, you don't want to send it in without getting it pressed and cleaned first. And the great thing about Eric is that he has not just a long history with pressing, but he also has a background in historical document handling. So he really knows this stuff. I know that my ratio of 9.8s went way up after I started using them, and it would behoove you to check him out. So if you're going to get some books graded, go ask him what he can do for you. And he's the type of guy that he's hands-on. He'll let you know what's going on exactly with your book before he sends it in, which is great stuff. Again, that's the roguetraderutah.com. Make sure that you go check him out. He's got much more than just pressing and cleaning services. He's got great comic books, and he is a gem to the comic book community. And then also, this episode is brought to you by Comic Proline. Down in the description, you'll find an email address for our good buddy Tony. He'll take care of all your comic supply needs. Just send him an email. Let him know what you want. The Comic Proline bags and boards are bar none some of the best that's out there. They're not as expensive as Mylar. They're kind of in between your normal bags and boards and what Mylar are for a great price, and they really present well. And so go check out their stuff. It's an awesome product. So check it out, guys. I got a number of announcements that I wanted to bring up on this live stream. So first of all, my first big announcement is it's con season, y'all, and I'm so happy that cons are back. The dreaded COVID-19 kept us on on hiatus for a while, but now they're coming back in full swing. And I think like from September through December, there's like a great con happening like every 2 weeks. It's like they're stacked. And so right on in the middle of summer here, Washington State Summer Con, which is bar none my favorite con to go to. It's an amazing con. It's smaller, it's intimate, and they always have a great lineup of people. And they just got the go ahead from Washington State, so it's kind of short notice. But it's June 18th to the 20th at the Washington State Fairgrounds in Puyallup, Washington. If you have the ability to come out here, come and hang out with Bueller and I. We're going to be hanging out at the con, and it's going to be an amazing weekend. Go check out the lineup that they have. Pretty great lineup for just a month's notice. And if you're wondering why they just waited until you only had a month, it was because if they didn't get the con going at that particular point, it would have been hard to try to stack it in with all those other cons that are happening at the end of the year. So great job by Steve over there, the guy that runs the Washington State Summer Con, and we are so excited to be there. So if you're going to be there, come check us out. Come hang out with us. You'll get to meet Mrs. Bullseye, the lady who keeps me in line, but also supports this crazy comic book stuff that I do. And she'll be there with me, and it's going to be a great time. Yeah, go check out the go check out the website and see what they have over there. Another one is you guys saw on Bueller's channel. I had some T-shirts that I had made. This is one that I had made for my wife, and this is one of the prototypes. And it's an okay version for screen printing, but I have found a better company for it. Anyway, I got a pretty huge response on Bueller's channel on the brand new coffee and comic show. A lot of people said, I want to buy one. And so, it's difficult with T-shirts because, you have to buy a certain amount to get the price break. And I don't want to be stuck with, just a bunch of T-shirts, just like a stack of mediums because nobody wants to buy the mediums or whatever. And so what I'm thinking of doing is doing a sale of these shirts with the Everything Comics logo on a pre-sale for a certain period of time. And at the end of that sale, I cut it off. And then about 2 weeks later, I'll ship everybody's shirts out. If that's something that you think you'd like, I'm trying to get a gauge on how many people would actually buy the shirt. And so if that's something you think that you'd be interested in, please do me a favor and let me know. I'll leave a comment down in the description. And what I'll just be transparent. What I'm thinking about doing is using the proceeds from the shirt to fund some of the equipment that I want to get for the next segment of my show that's coming up. So as you guys know, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video of me coloring, and the up-down camera, it was sufficient, but it was very small and very hard to really get into place for what I needed. I do have my camera phone, but I'm also noticing like when I do these live streams, I can't use my camera phone for the live stream. So I'm really thinking about getting another camera and some other equipment to help me out doing not just my coloring, also painting, but also doing live streams like this instead of using my laptop, which gives me, as you can see, not that great a picture. And so I'm thinking about using the proceeds of the sales of the T-shirts to fund the new equipment. And so I pretty much got it down to about $9 per shirt. It would be my cost. And I'm thinking of offering it for about $13 or $14. That would be $5 extra per shirt with about, I think, $3 to $4 shipping is what I'm looking at, somewhere in there. And then, like I said, the proceeds would go to funding the new equipment that I would use for those shows. And so let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. If you'd be interested in it. I'm trying to get a gauge on whether or not it would actually be worth it. And but I like, either way, I'm going to get some shirts. I like my logo. I think my wife designed an amazing logo, and so I'm going to use that going forward. And but anyway, I mean, really, I'm trying to make this as cheap as possible for you guys, and also try to be able to fund some of the things that I'm doing. So let me know what you think. Also, that also brings me to the next point. I did get a very favorable response to that coloring video that I did. People seem to like it. I'm thinking about doing the coloring and painting, not just in live streams, but also recording. It's very cathartic for me. I love doing coloring and painting, and I would focus predominantly on my superhero coloring books, adult coloring books, since this is a comic book channel, and I just have fun. I'll color and throw some music on in the background, talk about comics, talk about coloring, and it's like I said, sometimes we'll do it in a live stream, sometimes I'll do it in recordings, and then also my painting. I haven't done miniature painting in a number of years, but way back about 20 years ago, I used to win awards at miniature painting, and so I'm stepping my toe back in, and I'll let you guys see the good, bad, and the ugly, my process of getting back into the swing of things, you know, how I'm doing it, and showing you my mistakes as well as the stuff that works very well. And so I'm excited about it, and I hope that you guys are too, because going forward, that's going to be a mainstay of my channel. And so I want to talk about that. And then I also want to let you guys know that my new show, Bullseye Bob's 5 and 15 show, I was supposed to have an episode this Wednesday, June 2nd. That day is just too stacked for me. I'm going to have to postpone that show until the following Wednesday. So there will be no 5 and 15 show this week. And hope you guys will join me then. I'm going to go over my top 5 Ray Harryhausen movies. And then I got a special show, another 5 and 15 show scheduled after that. And it's going to be really special, guys, especially for you guys in the PCP Army. You're going to really dig the next show that I have after that Ray Harryhausen show. So stay tuned for the Bullseye Bob's 5 and 15 show. It's something I'm really excited about. Like I told you guys before, I love comics. I love talking about comics, but I started to think about how did I get into comics so heavily when I first got into them. And one of the things I realized was that there was all these different things that were in place that comics kind of encapsulated everything. That was kaiju movies, kung fu movies, fantasy books, you know, action movies. There were all these different things that I had a love for in science fiction and fantasy and all these different things that when I read into comics, they were all like encapsulated in this one medium, and I just loved it. And so I'm going to talk about all those different things from when I was a kid that informed my comic book reading that made me dive in so hard. And that's what the Bullseye Bob 5 and 15 show is about. And so every week we'll go over 5 different topics that I really want to talk about in that way. So come check it out. I appreciate you guys' support. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I love you all very much, and I really appreciate you. And so before I get into the comic books that I read this week, let's see who else is in the chat. Let me go ahead and get caught up here. Let's see. Okay, I pretty much got all the way down to Two Gun Pedro. And I got my good friend K. Titus Ken from Japan. How you doing, sir? Always good to have you here. We got Ghost Junk in the house. Thank you for stopping by. My brother from another mother, from Heroes to Icons. How you doing, Jason? Station, my friend. And then let's see here. Hope you guys don't mind me using these musty old glasses to check this out. I can't see. Then we got New World Order Comics. How you doing, my friend? Always good to see you. We got John's Comics with Kids. How's it going, my friend? Always good to have you here. Appreciate you, my friend. And then there's Sleepy Reader. Damien, how's it going, my friend? Man, me and you need to get together. You know, I know the COVID thing is over with, and I've just been such a hermit. But Damien, you and I need to hang out. It's way past time. Let's see here. We got Comic Toby 420. Thank you for stopping in, my friend. We got Thomas Fleming. Let's see here. Man, put together a $100 pack of military comics. I will buy it, trusting your judgment. Condition not important. Filler issues are okay. Thomas, send me an email. I support an organization who puts together military comics for the men overseas. And we always send comics out to those guys. I always support that. Do me a favor. Send me an email at bullseyebobec@outlook.com and send me your address. any information on how I can get a hold of you, and I'll talk to you about what I know about that organization and how we can get you some comics, my friend. I always support that. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? We got Nova69. How's it going, my friend? He says, I'm down for the shirt. Set up in Canada shipping option, please. Happy to pay the extra shipping. I will most definitely do that for anybody who is in Canada or overseas. If they want to pay the shipping, I will take care of it. We got Sith Lord ×2. How's it going? Thank you for the compliment. Let's see here. Who else do we got in here? We got Kirk Ireland. How's it going, buddy? Haven't seen you for a while. Always appreciate you being here. Thank you for the support. We got Trade Paper Dad Station, my friend. Who else we got here? We got Big Herm. How's it going, my friend? Always good to see you, and Station to you as well. We got Manuel. Where's it at? I just saw it. Station, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We got Woody's Comic Chest. How's it going, my friend? Wow, there's a lot of people here today. I was just going to do this impromptu. I wasn't expecting so many people to hop on. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me on this lazy Monday afternoon. And I just, like I said, I just wanted to hop on, enjoying some coffee out of my favorite mug. And, you know, I had some comics that I read this week that I haven't done a video on yet. I know Bueller did his video earlier today. Of course, we didn't have the brand new Coffee and Comic show this morning like we normally do. Bueller wanted to go ahead and take a break because he knew people would be on vacation. And so I was cool with that. It was kind of weird. Saturday morning, we didn't film. But, you know, you guys know we'll be back next Monday, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's always my favorite time of the week. Come and join us. We got a lot of great stuff planned going forward, and it's going to be awesome. So let's get into the comics, all right? So I did read some comics this week. I'm a few days out from them, so I got to get my thoughts together on what I actually read. But let's go ahead and get started. And the first one that I read is this is just Black Panther number 25, and you know, I got this, number one, I got this because of the cover. That is an amazing cover. I don't care what you say. That is a piece of art there, my friends. And I'm really sorry that I have not been keeping up on the Black Panther comic book because when I got to this book, I was expecting to be in familiar territory, and I wasn't. And now I want to go back and find out exactly what's been happening in this book. But it kind of starts you with this intergalactic empire of Wakanda. I guess that's something that T'Challa set up, you know, in space. And I guess at one point he goes there and there's a group that wipes his memory and makes him a slave. And then he's rescued by another group. And then he goes up against this guy who has the power of Bast, and then also a symbiote and the reincarnated mind of Eric Killmonger. I think that's what that is. Anyway, there was so much going on just in the first page of this book. As I tried to read going forward past the actions, like the first 4 or 5 pages are nothing but action. I was lost. I didn't know where to go, but I was so excited by some of the things that I was seeing that I really want to go back and get caught up because some of the things in here really excited me. And but I have to admit that while I was reading it, I was lost, and so I don't have much more to say about that. Whoever's doing the artwork on this, who is this? See, this is what happens when I'm doing this without my notes. But I'll tell you what, the artwork on this is amazing. I absolutely loved it. It's kind of a painted style with a heavier type of inking. The panel work is dynamic. I love the coloring. And so as much as I was lost, I still had a certain amount of enjoyment out of this comic book. And so it's prompted me to want to go back and catch up on what's going on with the Black Panther comic book. because I put it down when they after they rebooted it. It wasn't grabbing me, but some of the stuff I'm seeing inside of here, some good stuff. So I'm gonna be catching back up in that comic book. All right, so the next one I have is Shang Chi #1. This is the new one, of course, by Marvel Comics. And didn't they just have a #1? I know that they did. I'm just being facetious. And of course, Shang Chi versus the Marvel Universe, and first issue of a bold new era. And I don't know if I'd call it that, because it's just a continuation of the miniseries we just had. Where he becomes the leader of the five-fingered clan or whatever it was. And that miniseries was okay. It wasn't something that blew me away. But I got into it for a little bit there. I like some of the concepts in it. But here we are in this reboot, and it's the same team that was on the miniseries. And I guess this is an ongoing series. You guys know. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with this comic. I mean, it really didn't grab me. Spider-Man shows up. There's some cool action, but this is just not what I'm expecting out of a Shang-Chi book. And I'm wanting a little bit more substance. I'm wanting a little bit more of the kung fu stuff that I want. And there's some great panels here with Spider-Man. The artwork was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed the artwork, but it's just not the type of kung fu action that I'm looking for, y'all. And just because you throw Spider-Man inside of a book doesn't mean he's going up against the Marvel Universe, as the title says. So nothing to write home about here. I don't know if I'll keep it on my pull list going forward, but I wanted to try it because it's a #1, and so I was kind of disappointed in it. I'm showing you guys the comics that I was kind of ambiguous about first. And so that was one of them. Next one up on the list that I was lost in is Nuclear Family #4. I don't know if you guys have been on this, by Aftershock. I really loved the first 2 issues. I did not read issue #3, and I wish that I had, because I was really lost when I got into this one. It just wasn't familiar territory. Of course, there's the radiation sickness and experimentation going on, but this didn't have anything to do with the family in the bunker that I could see, as much as the first couple of comics did. Anyway, I just need to read issue #3 and come back to this, and that's what I'm going to do. So I think that's about it for my ambiguous books for this week, the ones that I was lost on. So let's go ahead and get into the comics that I actually read and understood and got into, and we'll go ahead and get into those. Really quick, I want to check in with the chat here, see what we got going on. Oh, we got Nick from Comic Culture. How's it going, my friend? Station. Here we go. NWO. Everybody saying hi to each other. Kirk Island says, beautiful cover. I'm thinking he's talking about the Black Panther cover that I just showed. Man, well, so I guess that's Gleason. Yeah, okay. That was an absolutely beautiful cover. Yep. Love it. I had to get it for the cover, y'all. Panther's a great character. He is. I love the character Black Panther. I've always been a Black Panther fan. And I always thought that he was so underrated and underused in the Marvel Universe. And I'm so glad that he is used the way he is now. What's up, Big Harm? That's some Friday references going on there. Nova69 says, I think that's the last one in that run. Really? Okay, see, I have not been keeping up on my Marvel comic reading. I've been highly disappointed in the last year with a lot of the stuff that's come out. And so I've kind of been stepping back from it a bit. And you got to understand that hurts me, because Marvel is my love. And some of the stuff that you're just putting out is just not good, y'all. And but that issue really intrigued me. So I am going to go back and get caught up on it, because I really dug it. Let's see. I wish they'd bring his cape back. That's right. When in the earlier comics, he was all about having that cape. So Fargate, how's it going, my friend? Always good to see you. Trade Paper Dad says, we like Black Panther run until the symbiote. I'm burned out on symbiotes. Yeah, they've kind of overused that trope, haven't they? Comic Toby 420 says, I'm working from home weekdays and in the field weekends. Okay. Let's see here. Fargate says, Station Bob, station, my friend. Taylor Hall, station from Nova Scotia. Thank you for tuning in from Canada, my friend. Let's see. Haha, because I get asked this on a daily basis, but Ireland is my last name. Yes, that's awesome. I wish my last name was Ireland. I'd love that. Luck of the Irish and all that. And let's see. Somebody just asked me a question. Trade Paper Dad said, who wins, Iron Fist or Shang Chi? That's a good question. Because the way they've been portrayed, I think, is kind of, 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. But as much as I love Iron Fist, I'd have to say Shang-Chi takes him down. That's just my personal opinion. All right. Danny Rand, love the character. I love how much Danny loves Daredevil. And I've always loved the pairing between Iron Fist and Luke Cage. But on his own, got to take Shang-Chi. All right. Here we go. Okay, so the next one up on the list, we have Star Wars Adventures, Weapon of a Jedi. Now, I got this just because of the title. I don't collect a lot of Star Wars books. I can't collect everything. I love Star Wars comic books, but I'm kind of picking and choosing what I get as I go along. By the way, I saw Anthony Wilson is here in the in the chat. Thank you for joining, my friend. Just wanted to acknowledge you. And okay, so you guys, I got to answer this question. Taylor Hall says Daredevil or Spider-Man. So I love Daredevil. I'll just say this one thing about the whole Daredevil and Spider-Man issue. Stan Lee himself said that Daredevil's radar sense trumps the spider sense, which is kind of precognition. But he said in a flat out, what's better? He said that the radar sense with a 75-yard radius trumps the spider sense. That's all you need to know. That's all I'm going to say. There you go. All right. So Star Wars, Weapon of a Jedi. I got this because I thought, wow, it's about Luke Skywalker. And I thought, what if they're showing that piece of history when he created his own lightsaber? Remember in Return of the Jedi, there's that scene where Vader grabs a hold of his lightsaber and he says, I see you've constructed a new lightsaber. Your training is complete. But we never get to see Luke actually create that saber. And so that's kind of what I thought this series was going to be. And that's not what it is. The artwork inside of this book, first of all, let me just talk about that. I wasn't crazy about. It seemed like it was really rushed. It's not very detailed. Some places it tries to get busy, but busy doesn't make good. I'll just say that. And it felt out of character for Luke Skywalker. I'll just say that. And also, this was really wordy for this book. You can see there are tons of word bubbles. And I had to slog through it because I really wasn't interested in it. But basically, it's a story about kind of after Yavin and before he gets his training from Yoda. He gets this premonition from the Force that he needs to go to this one place where another Jedi created their saber. So maybe the creation of the saber will come into it. But it was all about this premonition that he needed to follow the Force. And then we finally get to the place at the end of the book where the Force is leading him, and it kind of ends there. And I got to tell you, it was not as interesting as I was hoping it would be. Lot of really wordy exposition, especially for dialogue. that I thought was unnecessary. A lot of editing could have been done on this. It could have streamlined it. It would have made it really nice. And again, the artwork was just something that didn't grab me. And so as much as I wanted to enjoy this book, I love Luke Skywalker. I love, good comic books about Luke Skywalker, and especially a piece of the history that we haven't seen, like in between those movies. I'm all about that, all on board for it. But it just didn't grab me like I was really hoping that it would. And so I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Did you read this book? How would you, how would you rate it? I don't know if I'll get the second one, but I had high hopes for it. Maybe that was my problem. I just put too much expectation on it, and it didn't deliver for me. Okay, so the next one up on the list is number 5. And of course, you guys know I always get both covers on this particular book. And this one written by Maxwell Prince, or W. Maxwell Prince. And the artwork on this is by Gabriel Hernandez Walta. And you guys know I love Maxwell Prince's writing. Is kind of not, this book didn't have the normal despair that I'm expecting out of a Maxwell Prince book. This one is about an old lady who still dresses up as a clown. She used to be in the circus. There's a slight supernatural element to it, but I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite part about this book, and you guys know, our wonderful friend Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers, inside of this book, it shows you how to make a cauliflower casserole. And Robbie followed it step by step and said that the recipe was bomb. And so whether you enjoy the comic book or not, you get a good recipe out of it, which I thought was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And so, but as a book in this series, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the artwork. And I don't know if it really explains why she's still in clown after all these years. But it revolves around these kids who are friends, and they're they all have different dares that they have to do. And one of these kids' dare is to go into her house and to steal a creepy item. And he goes in there, he gets caught, and in the end, she ends up giving him the item. And I don't know. I had a lot of enjoyment in reading this book. I love Maxwell Prince's writing, and so number 5 was an awesome read. All right, next one up on the list is Something is Killing the Children, number 16. After being on hiatus for a few months, and what can I say? James Tynion, however you want to say it. Everybody says it differently. I even think that he changes it just to mess with us. But this one gets back to Erica Slaughter and her origin story. And it's not anything to write home about. We've seen this trope before. We find out that Erica's parents are killed by the House of Slaughter. And one of the members takes her under her wing to take her to the House of Slaughter to train her. And we've seen that trope done many times. And so there was nothing new about this story. But because of the way it was written, because of the way the artwork is done by Werther Dell'Edera, it was a fantastic read. And I loved every minute of it. There's some things going on here with Erica where even as a little girl, she's found to be perceptive. And that's going to help her out when it comes to the society that they live in. And they kind of really flesh out the House of Slaughter and the people who are accepted into the house to be trained. It looks like most of them are, come from affluent backgrounds, and they're snobbish, and not everybody is brought in the way Erica is. And so she's kind of going to be on her own in that respect, kind of different than the other people that are there. And I love that because it kind of shows the disparity between, how different she is from the rest of the House of Slaughter. I love Werther Deladera's panel work. Just absolutely amazing. I love how he'll switch back and forth between traditional panel work and then this side-to-side panel work that he does. It makes the story flow. It really gives it a dynamic feel. And but look, this series from the very beginning has just been absolutely awesome. And after the couple of months wait, was very happy to get this book. It was an awesome read. I know I've been hearing a lot of people say the same thing, so I'm not telling you anything new. But great read for Something is Killing the Children. Really quick, let's just see who else has joined. Let me get some coffee here. Wow. 32 in the chat. You guys, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate you. Station, everybody. And again, I couldn't do this without you guys' support, and so I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's see who else we've got in the chat since I started talking. Let's see. I don't know if let's see. Taylor Hall was from Nova Scotia. There we go. Anthony Wilson, did I enjoy the Iron Fist Netflix show? Hands down, I did not. There were some elements about it that I did like, but I thought out of all the Netflix shows, it was the weakest. And it definitely showed in the martial arts. You don't have somebody train for 2 weeks and then start filming and be as shoddy as that was. I mean, if you're going to have somebody who's going to be a martial arts master, he better look good on screen. And he didn't. It was horrible. And nothing wrong with that particular actor, but that's just not my Danny Rand either. So let's see here. We got Eric the Red. How's it going? He says, hey, I made it. Thank you for joining, my friend. Let's see here. We got Clive Evans is in the chat. He says, Bob, I'd love to order a shirt. Would you ship to England? Let me know the cost, and I'd be happy to pay. Thank you very much, my friend. We'll find out as that comes up. But like I said, I will open it up for overseas shipping as long as you're willing to pay the shipping. And so we'll get you taken care of, my friend. Let's see here. We got Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart. How you doing, Jen? Good to see you. Another one of our fellow Portlanders here in the Pacific Northwest. And hopefully, I don't know if Jen will be able to make it to Washington State SummerCon, but I have it on good note that she'll probably be at Rose City Comic Con, which will be good to hang out with her. We got Serge Henderson. Hi, Bob. Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to you too, my friend. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see here. Manuel got a dip. Manuel, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, my friend. And we got my good buddy, John Thomas. Station, my friend. Always good to see you. Really appreciate you. Sleepy Reader said, I really enjoyed this. Haha. Yeah, it was a good read, my friend. I love his writing anyway. And it was kind of a departure from the normal despair story. But I enjoyed it all the way through. It was highly entertaining. Let's see. Fargate says, Something Killing the Children, Book 1, Deluxe Hardcover Edition, Slipcase Edition. I'm sure they're coming out with those hardcover editions. I'm not going to buy them. I got all the floppies. Maybe I will to collect them, collect them all in one day. But I know that Boom has put out some nice hardcover editions before, so I'm sure it'll be nice. Big Harm says Something is Killing the Children was really good. Let's see. Jen says, I did buy my tickets for Rose City Comic Con, and I think we're going to have to go to Washington State Comic Con in a few weeks. Awesome! That'd be good to hang with you there. I guarantee you, Jen, it'll be one of the best Comic Cons you have ever been to. I love Rose City, but Washington State Summer Con is my favorite, hands down. It's smaller. It's more intimate. You get to hang out with the creators, and it's just an awesome con. So if you get to go, love to see you there. Then we got MRR Collect. See you at Rose City Comic Con. Absolutely, my friend. We are going to have, I'm hoping, I haven't talked to Damien about this yet, but I'm hoping that we get the whole Portland Comics crew there. That'd be awesome. But we'll see what happens. But I know Sam has said he's going to go. I know Bueller and I will be there. And I know Jen said she's going to go. And so it'll be good to hang out with all our Portland friends. And it'd be great to hang out with you too, my friend. So hope to see you there. See, me and Bueller keep hyping it up. And there's a reason for that. Washington State Summer Con, when we went 2 years ago, it was like the con you always dream of. It wasn't overcrowded. It's like I said, smaller. It's more intimate. It was just awesome. So I can't hype it enough if you want to know the truth. So anyway, I hope to see you there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the books. So another one that I read this week was Shadow Doctor #4 by Aftershock Comics. And I got to tell you guys, if you are not on this one, you should be. This is an awesome read. It revolves around the history, real life, true story. And it kind of puts you on footing of the author's father sitting at his grandfather's deathbed and his grandfather recounting the story about how he became a doctor for the mob. And more importantly, a doctor for Al Capone. So anytime any of Capone's guys would get messed up, get shot or hurt or anything like that, they would send it to this guy. And so it kind of relates the story about how he got into that situation, how he became a doctor, and more importantly, being an African American at that time and being a doctor was unheard of. And so it recounts the whole fight that he had to try to get a foothold in being a physician during that time. And so we finally got to the place where, he's got into this rhythm of, taking care of the, the rest of the mob inside of here for Al Capone. And but now he's also thinking about his own people and why don't they come to him for help because he's a doctor, and nobody wants to deal with him because he's working for Al Capone. And inside of this book, there's a boy who has a one of his family members gets really sick, and he calls the doctor in, and the doctor comes in to help. And of course, the other family members are like, "Get him out of here!" And the boy says, "No, he can help," and he helps anyway. And then once he's done, by the end of the book, he's wondering whether or not that's going to allow other people to get rid of their prejudices or their fears and allow them to come to him for help. And by the end of it, we have this great scene over here where all these people come to him, and that's kind of how he cements his place as a physician. I am really looking forward to to issue number 5. This has been a phenomenal read all the way through. It's written by Peter Calloway, and the artist on this is George Janti. And it's a phenomenal read. I do like the artwork inside of it. It's gritty. It's a little more colorful than I'm used to seeing for this type of artwork, but it doesn't detract from it. But the whole story, especially this issue, getting back to the hospital bed where his grandfather's recounting the story to his dad. His grandfather's recounting the story to his dad on there at the deathbed. It really brings the whole thing to fruition from book 1 to where we're at now. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And but anyway, if you're not reading this, Aftershock is putting out some great stuff right now. This is one of the books that they have out right now. I'm going to be sad to see this one stop. I think it stops in issue number 5. But Shadow Doctor is a phenomenal read, y'all. Okay, the next book is the Fantastic Four Life Story, the 1960s, book number 1, issue number 1. This is written by Mark Russell, and artwork is by Sean Isaacs, or Isaacsy. I don't know how you say his name. But this is done in the same vein as the Spider-Man life story that Chip Zdarsky wrote, which I really enjoyed. I loved that Spider-Man life story. It starts you off in the beginning in the 60s when Spider-Man, first becomes Spider-Man, and then it takes you through the decades and he ages in real time. It was phenomenal. And so now the Fantastic Four are getting the same treatment. And, I mean, there was some things about this that I enjoyed the artwork inside of it. I enjoyed the familiar footing of going back and recounting some history. The writing was okay, but of course, because they're covering so much history, it just felt rushed. Not like the Spider-Man version of the book. So as far as it getting the same treatment, I think that's, it's fair, but I don't think it's as good as the Spider-Man one. But I did enjoy it because of where we're at inside of here. I enjoyed going back through. This probably covers, the first 50 issues or so of Fantastic Four. There's some Galactus action going on there. And but I enjoyed the artwork. And I'll probably keep this on my pull list because, of course, issue 2 is going to be the 70s, and we'll see how that age progression goes. And I think that'll be the more interesting part of this book and the writing of it. Not so much the recounting of the history that we already know, but that aging process, seeing them you grow up in real time. I'm really looking forward to. But Fantastic Four, Life Story number 1, the 60s, it was a fair read. I wouldn't say that it's going to wow you, but familiar footing, great artwork, and I'm looking forward to the next issue on it. So we'll keep that one on the pull list. All right. Let's see. Before I get into the next book, let's see who we have here in the chat, see what's going on. Let me put on my ratty glasses. And we got here, let's see. John Thomas says, hope y'all have a great time. Thank you very much, my friend. Wish you could be there with us, buddy. Let's see here. Straight Paper Dad says, Shadow Doctor is my new book pick of 2021. You can't go wrong with that. It is a great read. Sith Lord also agrees. That's a great book, Shadow Doctor. Sleepy Reader says, I jumped onto Shadow Doctor thanks to you and Bueller. Now I love it. Awesome, dude. I always love hearing about anybody who picks up a new book based upon any of the reviews that we have. I can't tell you how many times I've tried something new based on your reviews, Damien. You and Robbie are still my two go-tos for obscure comic books that are not on my pull list and things that I've stepped out and tried new. So thank you very much as well, my friend. We got Cantonese Comic Book Kid. Hey there, my friend. Good to see you here. Always, always good to have you. Okay, people saying hi to each other. Let's see here. Let's see. Comics will break your heart. Jen says, Shadow Doctor is fantastic. Absolutely. We got Guns here. How's it going, my friend? Thank you for joining. We got Kenneth Cole, Station, back at you in Ohio. Let's see here. We got Kenneth. We got Dude Junior Ryan. How's it going? And then we got, see here, John Thomas says, I'll probably pick up Shadow Doctor and trade. It is really good. Big Harm says, Fantastic Four Life Story started slow for a book that's covering the 60s, and that second half was rushed. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt. It was because there was so much going on. It was just too much to pack into one book. I wish they would have just concentrated more on the characters and built from there. And who knows, maybe in the second one we'll get more of that. That's what I'm hoping. We got Phil Ailing. How's it going, my friend? Always good to have you here. And then we got, let's see here. Woody's Choice says Woody's Comic Chest says, haven't read Shadow Doctor. Maybe I should check it out. Absolutely. You can't go wrong with it. We got my good friend, Thunder God Comics. How's it going, my friend? Have no fear, for your Thunder God is here. Ba-boom. Always good to have you here, buddy. Thank you very much for joining. Let's see. More people saying hi to each other. Let's see. Nick Pierce is here. How's it going? He says, how many cups of coffee so far today? Well, I had a gigantic one this morning, which was probably about 2 to 3 cups. I think this was about my 5th cup so far. So, and like I said, it's just the regular regular donut shop coffee that I make in my Keurig. Nothing to write home about, but it is my favorite coffee to drink at home. So, all right, let's see here. We got Half Moon's Picks. There we go. Love the bedtime stories. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. And thank you very much for joining, my friend. And I think we're caught up so far. Everybody's still saying hi to each other. And again, thank you very much. We got 38 in the chat. Thank you very much for joining me today, y'all. Let's get on with the comics. All right, so the next one that I read was Made in Korea, #1 by Image Comics. And this is a story about a company that makes proxies. So the vibe that I got from this book was, if you ever saw the movie AI, that's exactly what this is. There's a family who basically can't have kids, and there's a company in Korea that is making lifelike kids. The twist inside of this is that there's a guy inside of the company who's broke some type of code pattern for that AI. And it's his own personal thing that he's done. He doesn't want to let the company know, but he's put it inside of one particular model and sent it out to this family at a lower price. And so the family gets it, and it kind of shows their reaction to it. The artwork is not anything to write home about, but it really felt like the AI story with a slight twist to it. I don't know. I'm going to keep this on my pull list for the second issue to see where it goes, because the whole building out of the story in the first issue really felt like that AI movie, and now it's in a place where it can go forward, and I'm kind of interested to see where they take it. So I'm going to keep it on my pull list for the second issue and see where we go with it. One of the things about the movie AI was that what makes something that has artificial intelligence actually sentient? What makes them capable of love or being more than just a machine? And it came down to the issue of dreaming, and that was the whole thing about that particular book. Was the boy had the ability to actually dream, which was kind of a great concept and an interesting concept. And inside of this one, the bedroom where they place this AI unit, it's full of books. And at the very end, you get this scene where she's been up all night reading those books, and she asks the question, is this dreaming? And so, again, familiar territory from the AI movie. I don't know if I would just buy it just based upon that, but I'm kind of interested to see where they'll go next with it. And so I'm on board for a second issue. We'll see what happens then. But Made in Korea, a fair read, familiar footing, artwork, nothing to write home about, but it is intrigued me enough to go forward with a second issue. So we'll see what happens. All right, so the next one we have up on the list by DC Comics, we have Detective Comics number 1036. This one is continuing the story. There's been a string of murders inside of Gotham City. First of all, before I get into that, this one, again, here we are without my notes. Anyway, I wanted to talk about who wrote it and who the artist was. Looks like Tamaki wrote it, and the artwork is by Dan Mora, which I love his stuff. You guys know I'm a huge Dan Mora fan. But anyway, there's a string of murders that's going on, and in the very beginning, you get the Huntress coming after Batman, coming after Bruce Wayne, and wondering because it looked like he was harboring somebody inside of his home. So she comes there to find out, is Bruce Wayne the one that's killing these women? She thinks not, but just to cover our bases, she shows up there. And we find out that one of the murders is basically Lady Clayface, or Lady Clayface was in the vicinity at the time of this particular killing, and she's having trouble keeping her form. So we get these pages of her kind of melting, like you see right here. And she's all over the place because she's trying to hold her form. And Bruce Wayne, Batman, completely believes that she's the key to these murders. And so that's kind of where the book sets at. Nothing to write home about. It's kind of slow paced, but and the Hunters really didn't bring or add anything to it. I love that character, but anyway, there's a lot on the artwork with Lady Clayface, which, and I love Dan Mora's artwork. The coloring inside of here is dynamic. But they're kind of coming to this place of who the murderer is, and it looks like some type of virus or something is getting into these people, because they got like worms coming out of their eyes, and so we'll see where it goes next. But I have not been impressed with the latest run on Detective Comics, except for the artwork, and so. Every once in a while I take a hiatus from Detective Comics, and I'm about at that point where I just may drop it for a little while. But we'll see what happens. We'll see where this story goes, and who knows? We'll see. I'll let you guys know. Another one from DC Comics, we have Mr. Miracle and the Source of Freedom. I love Mr. Miracle. I loved the whole Tom King run. This one... This one is written by Brandon Easton, and the artist is FICO Ossio, who I've never heard of before. This was a fun read. I really enjoyed the artwork and the coloring inside of it. For a Mr. Miracle book, it's not scot-free. It's this other guy named Shiloh, and this book kind of revolves around him doing being a stunt performer, and also at the same time trying to keep his identity secret. And in the book, he actually meets this girl, and his agent has to go get an NDA agreement from her that she won't oust his secret identity, and that's the only way he'll be able to go on a date with her. And she does agree to it. I thought the artwork was really, really well done. But in the background, there's somebody going around kind of trolling him through the like web streams and things like that. And then finally in his home, they break in and basically call him a counterfeit hero, and he's a fake and all this other stuff. And it's a different take on Mr. Miracle than I've ever seen. So I kept an open mind, and I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't that bad. It's nothing to write home about, but I really liked it. In the end, we find out who's been trolling him, and I think it's the son or daughter of Scott Free and Bad Barda, and they're called Never Free, and they show up in the end here, as you can see. Anyway, the artwork inside of here was great. It's a different take on Mr. Miracle than I've ever seen. It's not my Scott-Free, but I enjoyed the exposition on this character. So I will keep it on my pull list and see where it goes. This is part of the DC Infinite Frontier. And I kept an open mind and tried it out, and I liked it. So we'll see where it goes from here. I don't know if this came out last week or this week, but this was Legends of the Dark Knight by DC Comics, issue number 1. This one, this was just a fun read. It's not anything new at all. The art, let's just see, hold on. Let me put my glasses on here. I can't see this small print. But the writer and the penciler is Derek Robertson. And look, this is just all familiar territory. You got this new faction inside of Gotham City that's releasing a poison gas. The underworld comes together to kind of find out about this negotiation about it. We find out later on that it's the Joker who's always releasing poison gas. And it was just, familiar territory for a Batman story that never gets old. And I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought this artwork by Robertson was phenomenal. It's kind of got an underground feel to it. It's heavier inked. and really enjoyed that. But it's just a familiar Batman story. I mean, you're not going to find anything new here, but it's the stuff we all like about Batman. So yeah, check it out. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. Legends of the Dark Knight #1. Robertson doing both the writing and the pencils, and you can see on the cover that heavier inking style. I really enjoyed the artwork inside of the book, and so yeah, definitely a good read. Last book up on the list was Department of Truth #9, and I did not enjoy this one. I know this was Robbie's pick of the week, but you know, the book, this one, of course, James Tynion, and I love Tynion stuff. Art by Martin Simmons. I love the artwork inside of these books, but this one dealt with the power of belief and how iconography has power if you give it power and belief. And it gets into the whole Aleister Crowley thing and his impact on the world, which people make way too much over. He was a complete drug addict and sex addict and a pariah, and people try to make him out to be some type of free-thinking god, and he's not. I mean, if you look at his life and the way he died, he was just a dude, guys. And but I mean, they really get into the whole issue of iconography inside of this book, and I understand what he was doing with it, but it was just a lot of reading to really get you nowhere in the story. At least I don't think. Dealing with, our main character, possibly becoming a double agent with the other side, and how it all works. I actually got more excited about it says next issue, Bigfoot. I was like, okay, I'm on board for that. But this whole iconography thing, you guys know where I sit with my faith, especially when most of the things that people know or think they know out there has nothing to do with actual real Christianity or religion. And this is kind of the same type of stuff that lends to that. Most of the stuff out there is myth, and I don't deal in myth. But it's a comic book, which is modern day mythology, so I guess you can look at it that way. But this book, it didn't do anything for me. Sorry, guys. And I do respect Robbie's picks. I always do. And I think I understand why he liked this so much, because I think it deals kind of in that area that he loves to dip into. But I was disappointed in this book as a continuation of the story. So that's just me. So that's my comic books for the week. Those are the ones that I read. What are you guys reading? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know inside of the chat. There's a great number of books that I still haven't got to. I'm so behind in my reading. I mean, I got a ton of books that I haven't read yet that I'm still trying to work my way through. These are just the ones that I got to this week for the latest comic books that have come out. And so thank you guys for joining me for that. Let's see who else is here in the chat and see what other people are saying. Let's see, we got here. All right, we got Comic Crack here. How's it going, my friend? Always good to have you here. I love that Daredevil logo, my friend. We got Radio Friar Fall. How's it going? He says, hello, missed Bueller today and watched it earlier. Now, Bob, nice timing. Yeah, we both had to put a video out today. Let's see here. Who else do we have here? We got DC Dude in the house. How's it going? See, Anthony Wilson said, did you see Batman and Superman are starting over at #1 again soon? Yeah, and so is X-Men. And, the reboots are killing me, you guys. You don't have to put out a brand new #1 every time. I mean, even the Shang Chi book that I just read this week was, they just could have continued that miniseries. Let's see here. Who else we got in the chat here? We got Derek Magnus in the house. How's it going, my friend? Always good to have Derek here. Thunder God says, I mostly buy Detective Comics now for the Lee Bermejo covers. I love those Lee Bermejo covers, most definitely. We got Taki616 in the chat. How's it going, my friend? Awesome to have you here. Derek says Mora is awesome. I love Mora's artwork. I love his stuff on Once and Future as well. It's good stuff. See, Comic Crack says, who possibly needs more than 1,000 issues of any comic book character? It's kind of mind-boggling, to be honest. Some people are completionists, my friend. I do not need over 600 issues of Daredevil, but I am a completionist, and I'm collecting the whole run just so that I can say that I have. I've done it one time before, and it's one of the things I set out to do when I came back to comic collecting. But some people are completionists, and that's why they collect that many comics. At least that's my opinion as to why they do. Derek Magnus says, MM was lacking for me. Yes. Let's see, Bob, many books. Wants to know how many books are on my pull list. That's a great question, because weekly I put things on my pull list and take things off of my pull list. I really am very grateful for the guy at my LCS. He keeps track of my books, which is one of the reasons why I left the last LCS that I was at, because I kept finding things that they would say that they were shorted. And I'd look across the counter at the rack on the wall at the comic book that they're telling me that they got shorted in. And I was like, okay, I'm not having this. So I switched LCSs. And this guy takes care of me. I mean, I've got a pretty dynamic and difficult pull list because I constantly put things on there, constantly take things off. And so right now, I would say I probably have about 60 books on my pull list, somewhere around there. Maybe more. But I do get a number of books that I get digitally as well. But some of those books I still collect. But I do have a good number of companies that send me the digital pre-readers as well. So, great question. Let's see. Taki says, this is new, different MM. Going to see now that he has a full series and not just a B-side. So, you know, again, and I know Derek says that Miracle Man was lacking for him. I just thought it was a good different take, and I kept my mind open for it. I'm kind of excited to see where it goes next. We'll see. But like I said, it's not my scot-free, and that's what I'm used to. I'm just keeping an open mind, and it wasn't bad. I loved the coloring in the book. I loved the artwork. I thought both of those were great. And this new take, I didn't think it was that bad. Like I said, it's not going to wow you, and it's not going to be something you're going to be like telling all your friends they have to go pick up. But I enjoyed it enough to keep it on my pull list, so we'll see what happens next. We'll see how long it stays there. Let's see here. Taki says, I thought Miracle Man was okay, but I'd rather have scot-free. Exactly, Fro. Exactly. DC Dude says it was a surprisingly good issue, I thought. I liked that he wasn't perfect, kind of just a dude. Yeah, that was intriguing, right? I kind of like that about it. I kind of like the issue of the fact that he's he's got this presence with the public, but it's showing the other side of that, which is how you maintain that persona in public without giving away your identity. John Thomas says, vintage bats. You can't go wrong with that stuff. Brother Joe is here. Just finished dinner. Station, Brother Joe. Good to see you. Superior Hero Reviews is in the chat. We got 46 people in the chat today. Thank you very much for joining me, my friends, on a lazy Monday afternoon. I appreciate you all being here. And Superhero Reviews, thank you for coming. Let's see here. Who else do we got? So DC Dude, I guess you're talking about the fact that I didn't like Department of Truth. It just wasn't my bag of tea, bro. I'm sorry. I got to stick to my guns. And then he says, I say that, but I'm not reading it. John Thomas says, blasphemy. Oh, my gosh. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Geek Out with Roscoe is in the house. How's it going there, Comic Fam? Let's see. Derek Magnus says, 60, I thought I got a lot. I don't know what you're talking about there. Maybe I lost you there. We got Poppins the dog. Says, hey, John. Thank you for joining. Nick Pierce Says, have you read Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade yet? I have not. I have not on either one of those accounts. Let's see. From Here's the Icon. This is, what covers are you getting from Firepower 12 this week? I am reserving myself from getting all of the covers. I'm just getting the main cover. I know that I've got a few different choices there that my LCS is getting, and I will I'll make my choices when I'm there. There are a couple of exclusives that I'm looking at, but yeah, the only one that I know for sure is the main cover, my friend. But I really love how Firepower took off in the last issue. I love that book. D-Metz says, big, beautiful Bob, how's it going? Thanks for the video. D-Metz, thank you for joining, my friend. Always good to have you here. John Thomas says, Monday Night Raw. No, I want Monday Night Bob. Well, you know, Monday nights are easier for me to do than Monday mornings just because of work. I know a couple of weeks ago I did a live stream with reviewing my books like this, and people seem to enjoy it. I just wish I could do it on a Monday morning, but with work I can't. But Monday Night Raw, that may be a good show, my friend. Thank you for the idea. All right, Steve White says, lots of laughs tonight. Thank you. I hope you're laughing with me and not at me. Let's see. Jen says, I've really been enjoying Black Knight. You know, I have not been on Black Knight. I should probably get on it. I can't read everything. I was expecting to have digital copies of the Marvel stuff, and it just hasn't happened the way I normally get it. And so I probably should step in and check it out. Let's see. Kenton says, hey there, Everything Comics. Good to see you here, my friend. We got Hero and we got Will here. Says, what's up, buddy? Hey, everyone. Hit that subscribe. Get good old Bob to 2K. That is true. I am almost at 2K, everybody. If you'd be so kind, if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, do me a favor and give me a subscribe and help me get to that 2K mark. It's just right there. Anyway, Will, good to see you here, my friend. Haven't talked to you for a little bit, but you know me, I always appreciate you and love your family. So good to have you here. And we got Henry Heyman says, what is everyone's favorite comic right now? That's a good question. You know me, I love Kanto. Kanto is one of my favorite comics that is out there. Month over month, I love getting Once in Future. I love Something is Killing the Children. But I'm really, really enjoying Shadow Doctor right now. That's probably one of my favorite books that is coming out right now. And but I have such varied tastes, so I could probably rattle off about 20 comics right now that are my favorites. And that's just me. I'm sorry. Let's see. Comics Break Your Heart. I think it's only on issue 3. You're talking about Black Knight. That would be very easy for me to pick up, and I could probably pick all 3 issues up at my LCS. I will dip my toe in and see what I think and let you all know. D-Man says, Once in Future, still bringing it to. Yeah, that last issue was amazing. I love Dan Mora's artwork. And, of course, why can't I think of her name? The colorist. She's amazing. I blank out with names, y'all. But she's probably the best colorist that's out there. I'll just say it hands down. I'll remember her name in just a few minutes here. And, of course, the writing, I can't even think of his name as well. See, I'm starting to fry out here, guys. So that means I must be getting to the end of the show. Let's see here. Half Moon Space, will you continue streaming on Monday night during Monday Night Football with the Cowboys this football season? Well, you know, it's funny, but I can stream whenever I want and watch the game later if I wanted to as well. So who knows? Who knows? But Monday Night Football is not what it used to be. I'll just say that. Steve White says Noctura is awesome. Yes, Noctura is all. I love that book. I love what Scott Snyder, that's right, is doing on that book. Very, very cool. D-Met says Swamp Thing, also dope. That's right. Rom V's take on Swamp Thing. I love everything so far, those first 3 issues. And then, of course, what he did in Future State. Awesome stuff. Trade Paper Dad says, wow, 60 books. I try to stay with a 10 floppy a month and 5 trade paperbacks. I do read Marvel Unlimited also. I also have Marvel Unlimited. I also subscribe to the DC Universe. But with, doing a review show, usually about 10 comics per week. So it sits between 60 and 80 comic books on my pull list per month. And then it varies depending, like I said, on the digital copies that I get as well. And let's see. Steve White says, I'm getting a kick out of the silver coin. What a creepy story. Yes, I enjoyed the first issue. The second one, not as much, but it's still good. And I'm very excited to see where they go with it. And now that they've made it an ongoing series, especially with all the different guest writers that they're going to have on it, I am so on board with Silver Coin. I love the concept. And I'm a sucker for the horror books, you guys. So if you give me a good horror story that really grabs me, I am on board. John Thomas says, Bob is worth it. Please sub up. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you. Derek Magus says, Swamp Thing, Rom V is gold right now. Yes. Rom V and Dan Waters both are probably putting out some of my favorite stuff right now. That's another one of my favorite books. A Picture of Everything Else. Every time that book comes out, I'm flipping. I can't wait to read it. Always. And so Rom V is doing an amazing. Everybody from that stable is pretty amazing. But I'd say Rom V and Dan Waters are my 2 favorite coming out of there right now. Anthony Wilson says Noctera is my fave right now. Yes, you cannot go wrong with that book. We got Ryan P. in the house. He said, love the art and coloring on Once and Future. Absolutely. Then we have Cheeto STR. Thank you very much for joining the chat tonight, my friend. We now have 54 in the chat. Thank you for joining, everybody. Like I said earlier, if you do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It does go a long way to help out the show, and I really appreciate you all being here. Thanks so much. DC Dude says, I've been loving Nightwing and Suicide Squad and the Harley Quinn. Never seen that coming. I will say that I'm reading Nightwing. I am not on the new Suicide Squad, and I've kind of put Harley Quinn down for a while. There's too much Harley Quinn stuff coming out, and I've kind of put her on the back burner for a little bit so I can, get some Harley Quinn fatigue out of my system. Sorry to say that, but it's true. But Tom Taylor writing Nightwing, and he was on the last version of Suicide Squad, which I was very disappointed that they canceled. But I have been loving the Nightwing series. I think that this may be a seminal series that we're witnessing. I just love it. Absolutely love it. I can't say enough about it. Steve White says, Shadow Doctor is an awesome book. I agree with you, my friend. Brother Joe says, I am rolling with Silver Coin. Absolutely. It is, again, it's a great concept. And I'm on it. There you go. Tamara Bonneville. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Jen. I'm bad with names, and I will blank out every time, especially when I'm starting to get a little fatigued. And so thank you very much. And let's see. Thunder God says, go clobbering time on that like button. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Let's see. Karen Gillan. Jen pointing it out for me tonight. Thanks so much. Yeah, I love Karen Gillan's writings. His writing. I really loved him on the role-playing one. You're going to have to point that one out to me as well. But that's an amazing series by him as well. Tom Taylor on Nightwing is phenomenal. Absolutely. I love Tom Taylor's writing. I thought he's killed it in the last 2 years over at DC. I really hope they come out with another version of Deceased. We'll see what happens on that. Trey Paper Dad says, I'm enjoying Noctera. I'm interested in the concept of Lux Terra and other dimensions. Yeah. Some of the stuff that they're starting to flesh out inside of the Noctera book is amazing. Henry Heyman says, hey, what are they up to with the Silver Coin? So Silver Coin is kind of a horror anthology that's all based around this Silver Coin. And and it has a different writer on it every month, and it's got the same artist. I can't think of the artist name off the top of my head. But it is a horror anthology, and kind of like a Twilight Zone issue, every issue based around this one Silver Coin. The first issue was written by Chip Zdarsky. The next one was written by Kelly Thompson, right? You guys, it was Kelly Thompson on the second one. And again, I'm so bad with names, you guys. You put a horror anthology in front of me, and I'm going to be on board, especially if it's good writing. I enjoyed the first one. Second one, it wasn't as enjoyable to me, but it was still good because it was familiar footing with camp slasher movies, and Jason, and it revolved around this little girl kind of going from being abused by her peers, turning into one of these like killers. And so, but I'm on board. They're making it an ongoing series, and that's what Silver Coin is about. DMS says, I'm actually enjoying Crossover, but the hype died down quick. There was so much coming out on Crossover in the very beginning that I have stayed away from it. I am going to collect it in the trade afterwards, but it is one of those that I just made a decision on and said I'm not going to go that route. I think I read the first issue, wasn't completely impressed by it, and then just put it down until it's over with and see how it fleshes out. We got Unruly Simeon here. How's it going, my friend? Always good to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. Anthony Wilson says, got to give the kiddo a bath. Station, everyone. Station, Anthony. Thank you very much for joining tonight. John Thomas says, number 3 will be out soon at Henry. We go here. Let's see. We got Swaggle House Comics and Games. Hey, how's it going, my friend? Thank you for joining. Steve White says Silver Coin was going to originally be 5 issues, but I believe it is an ongoing, as Bob says. Yes, they just made that announcement here recently. I think that they're having a lot of fun putting these books together, and I think we're about to see something very special with Silver Coin for them to make a decision like that before the series is even over. DC says, I hear you all around. Yes, thank you, my friend. Bobby Delaghetto says, everybody use your Daredevil radar sense and find the like button. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. There you go. Big Harm says, too much Harley Quinn. That's ludicrous. I'm sorry, man. I just had to. I mean, they were starting to use her and everything. There you go. Jen, thank you. Die. That's right. I love Karen Gillan's writing, and Die is one of my favorite series as well. So laugh at me all you want. I'm on display here. Ryan P says Stray Dogs is amazing. It really is. But I think we're on issue 4 right now. I didn't read issue 3. There's one of the issues I didn't read, so that's one of the ones I have to catch up on. But I really enjoyed that series as well. Let's see. Thunder God Comics says, just 54 subs away from giving away 3 slabs back to the fantastic community. So check it out, you guys. Thunder God Comics. He does some great comic book content out there. Go check out his channel. Go give him a subscription. Show him some love. And it looks like he's got a great giveaway going on. 3 slabs. Who can't use a slab, right? Anyway, go check him out. He is an awesome brother to the community. And I really, really enjoy him. Let's see. Jen says, I got you, Bob. I appreciate you, Jen. Thank you so much. Trey River Dad says, you're talking about Die. It's wrapping up the series. I don't think it was originally supposed to go on this long, and I'm glad that it has. I think the original series, it caught on like wildfire, and I've just enjoyed it immensely. John Stout's here. He says, hi, y'all. Hi, Bob. How's it going, John? Let's see. We go here. We seem to be caught up. This is Thunder God says, I'm pretty sure Snyder has a whole universe planned for Noctera. Yeah, we're starting to see some of these creators start to flesh out these new universes. I'm really interested to see over at Aftershock what they do with that new universe that they're creating with the whole We Live comic book series. Really looking forward to that. Let's see here. Steve White says, yep, Kelly Thompson, I think that's what you're talking about. And John Thomas says Ed Brisson on number 3. Oh, that's going to be awesome. I love Ed Brisson's writings. And then, yeah, Big Harm says Kelly Thompson is why the second one was better. You like the second one better? Okay, everybody has their own opinion. But Kelly Thompson's a great writer. So, but I like the Chip book better when it comes to those two. See, a little bias liking the Chip book better. Yeah. Jen says, I think Rom V will be doing a Silver Coin story. Excited for that. Oh my gosh, yes. Let's see here. We got Daniel Anaya. I've been enjoying Nottingham. It's a good read. I'm almost caught up here, so I'll talk about that in just a second. Let's see here. Alex Avani, thank you for joining tonight. He says, your least favorite characters, heroes and villains. Mine is Submariner, Hercules, and all Robins, Craven, Sabretooth, and Bullseye. Sorry. All right. Well, I don't know. Least favorite. I guess I don't think about who my least favorite are. But to tell you the truth, sorry guys, I've never liked Submariner. That would be true. I don't know. I've never thought of who my least favorite characters are. So I'd have to really think about that. So maybe I have to get back to you on that question. Let's see. DC says, sitting down to eat, gotta run. Station, my friend. Thanks for joining tonight. John Stout said, Silver Coin is great. Layla Starr. That's another great book. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr is great. Shadow Doctor is great. Yes. Rom V's killing it right now. What's some books to stay away from right now? That's a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of books that I've taken off of my pull list. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But, you know, maybe I'll put that down in the description on books to stay away from, or books that I'm staying away from. I would never tell anybody that they should stay away from a comic book. But I will be public about what my opinion is on books that I'm not liking as much. So maybe I'll put that down in the comments. We'll see. Let's see. Big Herm says, Jennifer, that Rom V Silver Coin will be epic for sure. Absolutely. Anton Massapust is here. He says, have you been reading Stray Dogs? Yes, I have. But like I said, I'm behind an issue. And so I'm not caught up. But I will get there. Let's see. Yep, Big Herm. All right. And John Thomas says, Anton. All right. So I'm caught up. All right, guys. So I got a couple more things to show. I haven't really been getting a lot in the mail lately, but I have a few books that I want to show off here. I finally got my exclusive variants for Daredevil. I think it was 25, maybe the second print. But these covers here, we get the glare off of this one. Whoops. There we go. There we go. Anyway, I thought this particular variant was awesome, where it's got Elektra both in the Daredevil costume and not. I think as soon as I saw those, I had to have them. So those were exclusives. I want to say they were from Big Time Collectibles, but I got those in the mail recently. I felt that I was lucky to get this because when it first came out, there was only 3 copies on the shelf, and my LCS gave me one of them. But this is one of those bad idea comics, and this is the Hank Howard's Pizza Detective, which I really enjoyed. This was a funny comic book, had me cracking up. It's black and white, and the artwork was crazy, phenomenal, and so I really enjoyed it. So I don't know if you guys are on these bad idea books. I know some people can't get them. I'm still not a fan of the model, but everything that I've read in them so far has been amazing. It's great content. So I told my LCS guy, I says, you know, you keep putting him in my box. I'm just going to ask you from this point, go ahead and keep putting him in my box because I'm really enjoying him. So I guess I'm fortunate because I guess he's one of the shops that they're catering to. I don't know, but this one, if you get a chance, get it. It's phenomenal. Get it for cover price, though. Don't pay the outrageous prices that this book is or other books from there are getting because it's just ridiculous. But good content. Another one that I got here, I forget what, I think it was from Frankie's Comics, but this was the Star Wars Adventures Annual #1, and I had to get that dope IG-88 cover. I mean, as soon as I saw that's by Gang, which I love his covers. Not all of them, but I do dig his artwork. And but you can't go wrong with some IG-88 action, and that's just bomb, y'all. Love that cover. And then just recently, I had a bunch of overflow Daredevil books. Like, you know, sometimes people will send me stuff, or I'll go, you know, buy some collections, and I'll get duplicates. And I had a bunch of overflow Daredevil books that I traded. And then because the guy was so gracious because of the trade that I made with him, he gave me the opportunity to buy Nottingham #1, the first print, for a really good price. So I got this for about $35, y'all, which is a steal compared to what this is going for right now. I do have #1 in the second print, and of course issues 2 and 3. If you guys are not on this book, you should be. This is some of the best stuff that Mad Cave is putting out. Every issue so far has been amazing. And so if you get a chance to pick them up, even if it's I think the third printing just went for final cutoff on Monday. So if you can get your LCS to get you a copy of the third printing, get it. It's a fun read, fun time with it. I love Nottingham, you guys. So those are some of the books that I've just recently got in the mail. Like I said, you know, not much, nothing to write home about. But I do want to talk about one other thing before I go. And there's a brother who's a friend of the community. His name is Len, and he has his own comic book that he has published called Section 12. And it's from Lenovations Press. And I will put a link down in the description to his website where you can get this comic. But I would highly recommend you go there and check out what he's got. He's got this comic book that he's put out called Section 12. It's a self-published comic book by Lenovations Press. And he sent me a couple of comics to check out. And so basically, this was the... This is a book called Section 12 Declassified. No, sorry, Flashback. And then he also sent me the series of Section 12 Declassified. So Section 12 Flashback is kind of, he said, is the starting point, or where you could start on it. So it basically starts you off with the story in 1994. And what it's about is the government has a bunch of failed experiments that they're kind of hiding from the public. People who have gained superpowers as a result of these failed experiments. And they've kind of gathered them up kind of in a prison-like facility. And so you kind of get the backstory on a few of these particular characters. Len's artwork is great. He has some great stuff inside of these books. It's different between the two different series, I think, because of the inker that he's using. But it's great artwork. But the government basically is creating a team, as we've seen before in other books, out of these misfit failed experiments. And the first one you kind of get to know is kind of a Steve Rogers type guy. He's a super soldier that went wrong. Instead of just having super strength, he also gets stupid, kind of like the Hulk. So it's kind of like a Captain America meets Mr. Hyde type character. He's called Batter. And then we have a lady named Misfire, who is an interesting character inside of this book. But this starts you off, you know, back in 1994 when the story kind of begins on them creating this team. And it was a phenomenal read. I really had fun reading this story, and so I'd highly recommend you guys to go check it out. You can only get it off of Len's website. And if you guys remember in the last live stream that I did where I was reviewing my books, I showed you some art prints that he did of Daredevil. So he's a great artist. And so it's the same guy who's published these books. And then the next series is called Section 12 Declassified. And it kind of starts you off with this lady whose husband has just died, and she wants to get rid of some of the stuff that's in the house that was his. But she doesn't want the kids that she's giving it to sell it. She wants them to get rid of it. And instead of getting rid of it, they take it back to their apartment. And they check it out. And what it turns out being is all of this equipment from Section 12. And so they got guns and all kinds of stuff, and the fun takes off from there. So I'm not going to tell you what happens. You'll have to read and find out for yourself. But our good friend Len, he sent me this book. Says Len Milhovich, I think his name is, and his website is www.lenovationspress.com. Like I said, I'll put a link down in the description. Go show him some love. Go check out his self-published comic books, Section 12. He's got other stuff there as well, and it's phenomenal. I had a great time reading it, and give him some love. There you go. So let me just check up on the chat here before I end the show. I've been streaming now for an hour and a half, which is not like me. My brain gets fried when I'm on these live streams. So let's see. I'm going to start right here with Half Moon Pick says least favorite hero is Frogman. What were they thinking? All right. John Thomas says still got blue and green in my pile. Blue and green is phenomenal. Oh my gosh. That I think that's where I was first introduced to that guy, to Harambe. Thunder God says, for me personally, I stay away from X titles. I'll just, I've been vocal about that. I've stayed away from the X titles also because it's just not my X-Men. There's way too many of those books coming out. Anton says, I started reflecting ROM. It's something you maybe should look into. So you talk about ROM, the old comic book from Marvel Comics, kind of like the offshoot from, I think it was Micronauts, the Space Knight. I used to read ROM. I just haven't been collecting it. But anyway, John Thomas, Blue and Green is so hauntingly beautiful. My favorite 2020 book. Yeah, that was an amazing book. Big Herm says, wow, great electric cover. Thank you, my friend. Like I said, as soon as I saw that, I had to have it. John Stout says, I need to read Blue and Green. Have heard nothing but good things about it. I'd highly recommend it, John. John Thomas said, have heard great things at Jennifer. My backlog struggle is real. Isn't it? Isn't it though? When you start getting a backlog, man, it's not a cool thing. I got so many comics that I need to read right now. It's not even funny. Let's see here. John Thomas says, Blue and Green is great. I read it in one sitting. Jen says, backlog struggle is real. It's real, yo. Let's see. What's up, gang? Station, y'all? Ricky, Station, good to see you here, my friend. You guys notice my glasses are crooked because of my old broken nose from my boxing days. So you just have to laugh with me and not at me, right? Anton says, awesome cover of IG-88. Thank you, my friend. Love that cover. Let's see what else we got here. It says, but I still don't know what yeah, who knows what a backlog bro is, man? I'm good. Save a bowl of chowder for you, boy. I don't know what you mean by that. You must be talking to somebody in the chat there. Cover your ears, Herm. Go Sox. Okay. Ricky. Okay, so I am. Okay, wait. You got one question for y'all. Would you be upset if I ordered you? Would you be upset if you ordered a book on FOK, a 1.25 variant, and when you go to pick it up, the shop owner charges you $75 for it, especially when you always pay around $15 to $25 normally? Yeah, I wouldn't buy that book. If they're gonna pop you an extra $50 for a book that you would normally pay $15 to $25 for, unless the market bears that out and you're okay with that, then no, I would not. Radio Friar Fall says, please share your view on the Bendis Malieve run. I love the Bendis and Malieve. I think you're talking about Daredevil. At least I hope you are. I love the Bendis Malieve run. I thought it was phenomenal. When I came back into collecting, that was the very first run that I read. I was so intrigued. Everybody said, you got to read the Bendis run. And Bendis is very wordy, but out of everything that he was doing at Marvel, it still stands as my favorite piece of work that he did as a whole there at Marvel Comics. I will have to say that after reading the Ed Brubaker run, I'll put that just in my heart just a slight bit higher, just because of some of the things that he did that I wasn't expecting. But the Bendis run is definitely one of my favorite runs. It's definitely in my top 10 favorite runs on Daredevil. He did a phenomenal job, and I love Alex Maleev's artwork. Got to meet him at Emerald City Comic Con and talk with him for a little bit. Also met him at Rose City Comic Con and talked to him for a bit there. Got my picture with him, got him to sign some books, and he's an awesome dude. So that's my thoughts on the Bendis run. We got Agu here. How's it going, my friend? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Steve White says, good night, all. Great show, Bob. Thank you very much for coming tonight. So that's it for our show, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. There's 52 here in the chat right now with us, and I want to thank you all very much for joining me. I really appreciate you. And so, again, I hope you go back for those of you, check out the announcements. Hope there's some of you that'll make it to the Washington State Summer Con. We'd love to see you there. But I really enjoyed just hanging out with you guys on this holiday Monday afternoon. And so I'm going to go ahead and end it here and say, as always, support your local comic shop and Excelsior. Thank you very much for joining me, y'all. Take care.